It was a slow Thursday morning at Eddie's auto shop, a small garage on the edge of Brookhill, a quiet town where nothing exciting ever happened. The smell of oil floated in the air, mixed with the scent of old tires. Eddie wiped his hands on a rag that used to be white but had turned permanently brown from years of use. Business had been terrible for months. People were using newer cars, and newer cars rarely came to his simple shop. Rent was late, electricity bills were stacked in a corner drawer he tried not to open, and his landlord had warned him that another late payment meant eviction. Still, Eddie showed up every morning, wearing the same faded blue overalls and his crooked smile. "Morning, boss," said Tina, his young assistant who worked part-time while studying nursing. She had a cheerful personality that made customers feel welcome. She was also the only reason Eddie didn't quit. Sometimes her smile reminded him that life could still be good. "Morning, kid," Eddie said. "Let's pray someone's car breaks today." Tina laughed. "You might be the only person hoping for that." But on that slow morning, something unusual happened. A sleek black car, shiny like a mirror, rolled to a stop in front of the shop. It looked completely out of place in the dusty street. The engine sputtered and coughed before dying completely. The driver stepped out. She was a woman in a beige suit, elegant and calm, with long dark hair pulled into a neat ponytail. Even standing next to the expensive car, she somehow looked richer than it. Her eyes were sharp but tired, as if she hadn't slept well for days. Eddie blinked in surprise. People like her didn't come to his shop. Tina whispered, "She looks like she owns half the world." Eddie nodded slowly. "Or at least half this car." "Hi," the woman said. "Do you fix cars here?" Eddie almost laughed. Instead, he nodded politely. "Yes, Mum. What seems to be the problem?" The woman sighed. "It just stopped. I have a meeting in 2 hours, a very important one." He could tell she was stressed, but she carried the stress with elegance. "Pop the hood," Eddie said. She did. He leaned in, inspecting the engine. Within seconds, he found the problem: a snapped belt and a clogged filter. Simple fix, nothing that needed magic. "This is bad?" she asked. "Not terrible, I can fix it. Might take an hour." "Oh, thank goodness," she whispered, rubbing her forehead as if the universe had finally given her a break. While Eddie worked, Tina offered the woman some water and started chatting with her. The woman was quiet at first, but she warmed up slowly. "My name is Lena," she said. "Thank you for helping me." When Tina asked what she did for a living, Lena smiled faintly. "I work in investments." She said it lightly, casually, as if it were nothing, but there was something in her voice, something hidden behind the simple words. Eddie overheard the conversation, and though he couldn't tell what, he sensed she wasn't telling the whole truth. When the repair was done, Eddie closed the hood. "All set." "That fast?" Lena looked impressed. "I try my best," Eddie said. She reached for her handbag. "How much do I owe you?" Eddie shook his head. "Nothing." "It was simple." Her eyebrows lifted. "Nothing." "I don't charge when I can fix something quickly. My dad taught me not to take money when the job is easy." Tina rolled her eyes. "Which is why we're always broke." Eddie ignored her. Lena stared at him for a long moment, as if she was trying to understand him, truly understand him. "No one refuses payment these days," she said softly. "Well," Eddie said, shrugging, "I guess I'm old-fashioned." Something changed in her expression. A softness, maybe admiration, maybe more. She shook his hand. "Thank you, Eddie." Then she drove away. Eddie did not know that this single act of kindness would change his life forever. 2 days later, the shiny black car returned. Eddie was under another old vehicle when he heard the smooth engine outside. He rolled out and saw Lena stepping out again, looking less stressed, more alive. Tina whispered, "This is not normal. Rich people don't visit twice." "What do you want me to say? Maybe she likes broken cars." But the truth hit Eddie when she approached him. "I was meeting with someone nearby," Lena said. "Thought I would stop by and thank you again." "You don't have to." "I know, but I wanted to." She brought a box of pastries, expensive ones from the fancy bakery downtown. Eddie tried to refuse, but she insisted. They talked. And the more they talked, the more Eddie realized he liked being around her. She had a sharp mind, a soft laugh, and a way of making him feel like his tiny world mattered. Before she left, she said, "Maybe I'll drop by again." He pretended not to care, but he cared. Lena kept visiting. Sometimes she brought food, sometimes just conversation. Sometimes she stood there watching him work, asking questions about engines and tools. She seemed fascinated by the simplicity of the garage. One afternoon, while Eddie tightened bolts on an engine, Lena asked, "Why did you become a mechanic?" "My dad was one, taught me everything. When he passed, the shop became mine." She touched the dusty counter gently. "You must love it." "I do, even if it doesn't pay much." "What would you do if you had money?" He laughed. "Money? What's that?" She smiled. "Just pretend." Eddie thought for a moment. "I'd fix the place up, make it bigger, maybe hire more people, help folks who can't afford expensive repairs. Not everyone has money to waste, you know." Her eyes softened again. "You're one of the rare good ones." He shrugged awkwardly. "What about you?" he asked. "Why investments?" Her smile faded. "Because that's what my family expected. I was good with numbers. I became someone important. But sometimes I feel like I lost myself along the way." There was pain in her voice, quiet pain. Eddie didn't push, but every time she visited, he noticed something. She relaxed, she breathed, she felt safe, and he felt something growing between them, something fragile and warm. One evening, Tina burst into the garage holding her phone. "Boss, you're not going to believe this." "What now?" "It's her, Lena," she shouted. "I saw her in the news." Eddie froze. Tina shoved the phone in front of him. There was a picture of Lena standing next to other wealthy people. The headline read, "Lena Marquez, billionaire investor expands global portfolio." Eddie almost choked. Billionaire? He had no idea. She didn't look like someone who lived in golden mansions and traveled in private jets. She looked normal, kind, real. "She's worth over $3 billion, Tina whistled, "and she comes to your shop." The number felt unreal, like something from a movie. "Why didn't she tell me?" he muttered. But deep down, he already knew the answer. The next day, Lena arrived like usual, but everything had changed. "Why didn't you tell me?" Eddie asked, trying to stay calm. She stiffened. "You found out." "I had to find out from the internet," she sighed heavily. "I didn't want things to feel different. People treat me like a trophy or a wallet. I liked that you didn't know. With you, I felt normal, human." Eddie's anger softened. "I'm still me," she said. "The money doesn't change who I am." "That's not the problem," he said quietly. "The problem is, I don't belong in your world." Her eyes flashed with frustration. "Who decides that? You." "I fix cars, Lena. You own companies." "You fixed my car," she said firmly, "when no one else was around, when I was desperate, and you refused payment. That matters." He looked away, unsure. She stepped closer. "Eddie, But before she could finish, a loud crash echoed outside. A truck hit a pothole and swerved, sideswiping a row of parked cars, including Lena's. She gasped, "My car!" The truck driver jumped out, apologizing like crazy. Eddie took charge immediately. "Are you okay?" he asked Lena. I think so," she said, shaken. Her hands trembled slightly. Eddie gently held them. "It's just a car," he said softly. "You're safe." "That's what matters." She stared at him, eyes softening with emotion. For a moment, the world paused, until she pulled away suddenly, overwhelmed. "I should go," she whispered. She left in a taxi, and Eddie worried he wouldn't see her again. Lena didn't come back the next day or the day after. Eddie tried not to think about it. He tried to work, tried to stay busy, but his chest felt tight. One evening, he sat alone in the shop, staring at the empty doorway. "Boss," Tina said gently, "you miss her, don't you?" He didn't answer. "You should go see her," Tina urged. "And say what?" "Say you're scared. Say you like her. Say you're human." He shook his head. "She belongs to another world." "Maybe," Tina said, "but she keeps visiting this one. That means something." 3 days later, Lena returned. She wasn't wearing a suit. She wore jeans and a simple hoodie. She looked younger, softer, tired. "Eddie," she said quietly, "may we talk?" He nodded. They stood outside under the dim evening sky. "I disappeared because I was scared," she said. "Not of you, of myself." "Why?" "Because you're the first person in a long time who didn't want anything from me, and that terrified me. I didn't know if I deserved that kind of kindness." "You deserve kindness," he said slowly. "Everyone does." She took a deep breath. "I want to tell you the truth, everything." So she did. She told him about her empire, her responsibilities, her loneliness, her fear that people only loved her money. "I wanted to tell you the day of the accident," she whispered. "I wanted to say that I care about you, Eddie." He stared at her, stunned. "You care about me?" "Yes," she said softly. "More than I expected, more than I planned." His heart thudded. "I care about you too," he said, "but I don't know if I fit into your life." "No one fits perfectly," she whispered. "But we can try." 1 week later, Lena returned with paperwork. "Eddie, I want to make you an offer. If this is about money, It's not a gift, it's a business proposal." He blinked. "I want to invest in your shop," she said. "Make it bigger, modern, expand it, train you, grow it into something large, something you deserve." Eddie stared at her. "Why me?" She smiled softly. "Because you fixed my car without asking for anything. That told me more about your character than any resume ever could, and because I believe in you." "This sounds crazy," he whispered. "Most good things start that way." He swallowed hard. "How much are we talking about?" "Enough to change your life," she said, "but only if you want it." After a long moment, Eddie nodded slowly. "Let's do it." Her face lit up like sunrise. 3 months later, Eddie's auto shop looked completely different. The rusty roof was gone. New equipment filled the space. The building was repainted, expanded, reborn. Customers flooded in every day. But the best part? Lena visited almost daily, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. Their relationship grew naturally, slow, soft, honest. Sometimes they joked, sometimes they argued, sometimes they sat in silence, comfortable and warm. One evening, as the sun set behind the new shop, Eddie said, "You know, I still can't believe any of this is real." Lena smiled. "Sometimes life surprises us." "And sometimes billionaires walk into old garages," Eddie joked. "Only the smart ones," she teased, nudging him. They stood close, closer than ever. "Eddie," she whispered, "I'm glad my car broke that day." "Me too," he said. Their hands intertwined naturally, like they belonged together. Maybe they did. One day, a struggling young man came to the shop with a smoking engine. His clothes were dirty, his wallet almost empty. "How much will it cost?" he asked nervously. Eddie smiled. "Don't worry about it, this one's on me." The young man's eyes filled with gratitude. Thank you so much." As Eddie worked, Lena watched him from the doorway, smiling warmly. "You never change, do you?" she said. "Not planning to," Eddie replied. "That's why I fell for you." He grinned. "Good. Because I fell for you too." And just like that, the story came full circle. A free fix, a kind heart, a life changed forever. Sometimes the smallest kindness creates the biggest miracles. Here is the end of this story. I hope you are entertained. Kindly like, share and comment. And do not forget to subscribe.